The massive ovation from Nyngan railway yards, the highest but barely driest point left, was the state's largest peacetime operation of such a nature. That it was achieved so efficiently is a tribute to the combined resources of police, SES, armed forces and civilian organisations who volunteered aircraft and personnel. There were questions about the town's preparedness for such a disaster, but few questioned the evacuation, accomplished without loss of life and with impressive precision. For the women of Nyngan, the dark, wet hours of Monday night was a lonely and frightening experience. Separated from their men and in most cases left to care for their kids, they had to maintain an outer calm while fearing the worst.
We were all scared. We were scared. My family and I raced up to the motel and we got up on the balcony. I didn't see my husband till the next day. And as we were on the balcony, we could see the waters rising and we were terrified.
People were fearing for their lives?
Well, I was really fearing for my children more so.
Once the evacuation was inevitable, there was a rush to gather what belongings one could from homes as the waters gradually, inexorably covered first streets, then yards, higher up the walls before invading the buildings themselves.
Where are you off to? High ground, mate. What? How you going? Good, mate. How are you? Pretty good. In for a long night. Yeah. You go. Looks like I'm going camping, doesn't it? Hey?
And the water that night, that's when it hit us the worst. And I was in a boat helping. As they came to pick me up at midnight, I went in the boat and my husband sang out. There was two old people in the street from us. Check on them to see if they've gone. When we got to their house, the light was on. We thought we heard something. We turned our motor off. And the lady that we had to get out through the bedroom window, she said when she heard nothing, they thought we'd left them. She said they thought that's where they'd find them next day. They were up to the neck in water. I think they were very, very old people. We had to get them out through their bedroom window. He was crippled up with arthritis, and I think he might have gone into shock with us. We had to get him through this tiny window into that boat, and I don't think I'll ever forget that.
For most, an evacuation was something one only dreamt about or watched in movies. The reality was both frightening and heartbreaking.
I was taken out of my house about 8 o'clock and then went to the top of the Nyngan Hotel and then by boat from the Nyngan Hotel to the railway station and by helicopter, yeah.
And among the evacuees was 92-year-old local historian Wilfred Gibson, who, along with his 94-year-old wife, had to leave behind many decades of research material on the history of the Bogan. In making history, the Bogan had also swept much of it away.